I promised you guys it was coming back, and on today's episode of WatchJRGo, we are getting back after Grandpa's truck that's in kind of bad shape from sitting for so long. What is going on, guys? I am WatchJRGo, and today, like I said, we are back with my 1965 Ford F100 that I have owned since I was 5 years old. And that's when it got signed over to me, and I didn't understand the significance of it then. And now, as you guys know, it's really the only car I care about. Everything else, easily replaced, no big deal, not even remotely sentimental. But this one, well, I care about it. And we did a ton of work to this about 3 years ago. This truck got the entire Holley Sniper set up to replace the old single barrel auto light, and it made this thing a rocket ship. We've got the Hyperspark distributor on here so we can adjust the timing on the touchscreen. It is the sickest setup, and it's ran really good ever since then. But even when I was 5 years old, this thing was leaking transmission fluid like you wouldn't believe. And it always has been, and we have never actually addressed it. So I think it's about time to fix that transmission fluid leak, and a bunch of other leaks have popped up as well. So in that video where we did all the Holley stuff, we did literally everything you could ever want to do. It's got an Edelbrock Performer intake on it. We replaced all the gaskets up top. We replaced the push rods. It been another push rod. I mean, come on. Apparently the FE engine is notorious for bending push rods. And I don't really know what you're supposed to do about it. Some people say you can tear it all down, and after a refresh, if you're lucky, it'll stop bending push rods, and other people say just buy more push rods and keep them around because they keep breaking, or they don't break, they just bend, so the valves don't open all the way. So it's a little bit unfortunate. We do need to pull the valve covers again, do push rods. There's a lot of leaks, and today we're gonna go underneath this thing and inspect those leaks. I wish I had everything out of the bed, but honestly, there's not that much weight in there, so we're not gonna worry about it. Really, the only weight is the mini split that needs to go in the house's garage, and we kind of put everything in the house garage in the back of this. So the mini split's back there, the head for it, and then a bunch of insulation and a subwoofer. So I think we're gonna leave all that in the bed, no big deal, and just go ahead and throw this on the lift. It's honestly, I don't think it's ever been on a lift one time in its life, even at the old shop. It just sits back there and looks incredible. Well, we got the truck up in the air, and if there's one thing we don't talk about enough, old cars were simply not meant to be lifted with two-post lifts. These were pretty much only meant to ever be on the ground, worked on in a pit, or worked on a four-post lift. Why? Well, the frame rails are always way too close together on all of these old cars, and other cars like that Camaro are an absolute nightmare to lift because they don't have proper pinch welds. You kind of need to find some hybrid of like lifting on the frame and also lifting on the pinch weld on things like the Camaro, and on this, it is absolutely the definition of sketchy to the point where we had to support the front and the back, and it's still scary to get under this thing. Just to prove it to you guys, this frame has like a contour that makes it super sketchy to lift. You have to add all the spacers in the back and then crank it up as well just to get the truck kind of level. And in the front, well, the arms don't even reach the actual frame. So this piece of wood is there just so we can make sure that the arms don't get pushed off, right? Because if you lift on the angle that you would normally have to, sometimes the arms will snap off the frame and drop it. So we had to throw a 2x4 in there, but we got it up in the air. This truck is work-onable. Sketchy or not. Now, the cool thing is, getting back under here, I realized I put all new shocks on here. We went to O'Reilly's, got some KYB gas adjusts. Obviously, we have an entire electronic fuel system that works incredibly well, especially after we replaced that filter late last year when this thing like filled up with water from not being driven enough. And I can't drive it very much, right? It's not really a truck that you can go drive all the time. So I realized that it needs driven, and I need you guys to realize you can't just drive this truck all the time. But let's jump in here and see what we gotta fix. First of all, it looks like, I think this wheel here, you guys can see these like liquid trails all over the wheel. I'm pretty sure that's all brake fluid that was dumping out of that brake cylinder right there. It looks like it's been replaced though. I mean, it's clearly been leaking. Let's come around here to the back where you can see that there's a bunch of rust trails. I think that's leaking. And that would also explain why it's so rusty. I think I replaced both of these at one point, and And if you come over here, you can see that it looks like I replaced that one too. It's got a brand new bleeder in there, but it might be time to replace them both again because this thing leaks all of its brake fluid out if it sits. Literally all of its brake fluid to the point where you can't stop it. So that's problem number one. We got to get the brakes sealed back up so that this thing stops when it's supposed to stop. It's a little bit sketchy. Now the rear end looks like it's leaking from the plug, but only a little tiny bit. It's not really leaking very much right there. Where it's leaking is from the input seal on the rear end, and it is really leaking there. So it's coming down from the seal all over the rear here. It looks like we might have to drop the entire rear end out of this thing to go have it resealed. I think you should be able to just hammer in a front seal, but I'm not actually sure. It does have a carrier bearing and everything on the drive shaft, 2-piece drive shaft, all that good stuff. We're gonna have to drop the drive shaft and get in here and get that fixed because it leaves a lot of oil on the floor everywhere it gets parked. It just keeps getting worse. And then, I mean, that should be no big deal. We should be able to just tighten up the plug there. So maybe it's time for the entire rear to come down and for those brakes to get rebuilt at the same time. That wouldn't be bad. I'm a little concerned about this. These are literally brand new shocks and I hope they didn't start leaking, but there's wetness on both brackets. Just a little bit of wetness right on each side. As far as those shocks, I guess we'll see. I don't really think that they're the problem. I don't think it's leaking down. I think it's actually oil coming from the front of the truck because we're not done with our leaks yet, guys. I've got a lot more to show you. So the transmission leaks a lot. Like I said, it's been leaking for 30 years now. I think that transmission mount might be shot. I don't remember if we replaced it last time or not, but it's probably time to do the cross member drop and transmission mount, but maybe we didn't do that because I need to pull the transmission so badly. Everything under here, look at it. There's transmission fluid everywhere. You've never seen so much transmission fluid under a car. Literally the cross member covered. Every bolt head is dripping with red fluid right there. Shift linkage covered, bell housing covered. I don't know if there could be more of a leak from a transmission. And you know what? Every once in a while I fill this thing up and drive it and it runs great. It's never had a single issue, but it sure is wet. And that's not the end of the leaks either. It looks like it's time for these bushings here. I know people want to rip out all the twin I-beam stuff and have me replace it with Crown Vic front end, but honestly, I don't think that's in the cards for this truck. It probably just needs new bushings on all these arms. So that's the reality. We should probably do these brake hoses too. They're 50 years old at least. They might be fully original brake hoses. They're very stiff. So those have been on there. I've never changed them and I've had the truck for almost 30 years. I assume those are very, very original. Now there's oil coming down all over from the top of the engine. It's all over the steering box there. And if we add a little bit of light, you can see it looks like the brand new valve cover gaskets are leaking. So that's really unfortunate. All over the exhaust back there where we're using those exhaust gaskets that finally stop the exhaust leak. I forget what they're called, but we fixed the exhaust leaks and now I can see there's oil all over underneath the valve cover gasket. So we definitely have to change the valve cover gaskets again. Probably time for an oil change. The filter's got oil all over it. Even the sticker is starting to bubble up on the Wix logo there. I think the oil pump itself isn't leaking, so that's something. Then the pan is a little bit wet, but the rear main seal is the rear leak. That is one wet engine. Maybe the worst any of us have ever seen. So there's oil all over that cross member. There's oil all over the floor, just so you can tell. More engine oil than transmission fluid for once, but I think that's just because it's about out of transmission fluid. Once all the fluid leaks out, it's not a leaker anymore, right? Woo, look at that pretty new radiator. All those hoses are new. Fuel pump block off right there. There's the old fuel supply line. That needs ripped out of there. That used to go to the mechanical pump that is blocked off. Luckily the pump is not leaking. That's something. Looks like that's oil pressure sender right there. That might be leaking. Power steering pump looks like it might be leaking. I mean, what are you supposed to do? This is getting into everything needs to come out and it needs fully rebuilt territory. It even looks like that power steering line's leaking right there. It's kind of crazy all these leaks exist because this thing drives like an absolute dream. It starts every time perfectly. It shifts through all the gears. There are no power steering noises. This thing is flawless, but it just pukes fluid out all over the place. You do have to stay on it, right? Pretty much every time I take it out, I have to check it all, but there you go, guys. Now you've seen all of the leaks on this thing, and it looks like, you know, every bushing is kind of getting old, rotted. These are mostly original bushings. All the bushings on the steering there actually look really good. This brake hose has dry rotting in it, so probably time to replace both front brake hoses. Definitely time, you can see all the oil coming down, to do that valve cover gasket on each side, which we're gonna have to do since we gotta do some push rods. But I really think this engine's gonna have to come out, and it needs converted to a rubber rear main seal and not the old rope seal, because you have to drop the crank to do the rope seal. So that's a wild job. You know, while I'm in there swapping out those brake hoses, I think we found another problem. So feels great, sounds good. Over here on the passenger side, I'm pushing hard. I think that brake's locked up. Let's go check the back. So I think this is an open diff. Sure is. Even if there's a little drag there, I don't know if that brake's stuck on. Let's check this one. I mean, it's gonna feel the same. Yeah, tough to tell, but it looks like it might be time to do all the brakes and the rear end here. Well, no matter how much fluid this truck leaks, at least it looks beautiful in the air or on the ground. For now, let's get it back on the ground, and time for me to order some parts. I gotta order, we'll start with this rear end reseal, like I said, because that gear oil all over the floor is nasty. It's probably been in there for 50 years, and it just keeps leaking every single time it gets moved. And while we're in there, we can knock out this brake stuff on the rear. And since the transmission builder on the Camaro kind of left me hanging and I had to tighten those pump bolts back up, I think Dad and I are gonna pull this transmission, or I'll pull the transmission and we'll rebuild it. So you guys will actually get to see the entire process of this C6 getting torn down and put back together. And once that transmission's out, we can do that rear main seal, valve cover gaskets, and hopefully we've stopped the leaks. I've also heard FEs just like to leak. I mean, it could just be an old school Ford engine thing. So for now, let's go ahead and get this thing back on the ground. I don't trust it on the lift. You can see the truck lowering as I do this, which is a little bit sketchy. Like I said though, I don't know how we're going to get that transmission out of here, since you can't actually pull it with the 2-post lift. Hold my breath while this thing's coming down. I'm telling you guys, unbelievable how scary it is to lift something like this. That wood is probably holding everything together. All right, we got her down. Anyway, there's the update on Grandpa's truck. You guys will see a lot more of this soon. It needed to come back to the channel, and I needed to be able to park it back in the garage. And for now, it has to stay out here because, like, I mean, you saw the leaks and all that brand new concrete. It would be obliterated if this thing parked in there for a day. So for the time being, it's out here and it's gonna get sorted out. That is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to head on over to shop WatchJRGo.com for cool shirts just like this. And please like, share, subscribe, do whatever you want to do, and I will talk to you next time. I think the fog lights stopped turning on too, which is kind of weird because they always worked. And then they just randomly gave up on me. So I doubt they're burnt out. I think we need to check the relay or something that turns those on. But that is the 65 F100. I guess I better start this thing up for you guys. I know you haven't heard it run in a year. And here we go. A little shaky from that bent push rod. You can, I don't know if you can see it, but we got a little rock back and forth right there. The alternator is charging too much. Look at the battery voltage. It's too much. I think we might have to pull the alternator and go through it too. Woo! You can hear the RPM comes up slowly because of the bent push rod too. It's carrying that cylinder and we don't want that. Also, luckily, I think it's finally out of gas, which is awesome. I want to make sure all the fuel in it's brand new, and we'll go to no ethanol this time because it doesn't get driven enough to run modern ethanol fuels. We definitely need to be on full no-eth premium because the Sniper made this thing a rocket ship. It's actually kind of incredible to drive now. It makes so much power. That's not something I ever thought I'd say about this, but it absolutely rips. When it has all of its push rods, it'll blow the tires off, no question.